You're listening to the Ugly Truth Podcast with George and Christina Markoski, your weekly injection of science, insights, and myth-busting. For awesome info and trending content, go to theuglytruth.blog.
Buongiorno from Naples, Italy.
Hello from sunny Naples, and we're here on our holidays at the moment, but we decided we're going to continue podcasting because it's what we love to do. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
And
check out this location. Check out this view that we've got from our balcony here in Naples.
Yes.
You can actually see behind me, that's Mount Vesuvius.
Yes, and then behind us the port of Naples. And
it's pretty awesome because we actually got to climb Mount Vesuvius today, and it was a little bit scary because it's actually an active volcano. But it's okay because right now we're in the blue zone, which is good. But obviously when we were climbing it, we were in the red zone.
The question I've got though, did you have a free choice to climb Mount Vesuvius? Why did you climb it?
I climbed it because I'm here. And no, I didn't have a free choice to climb it because...
Well, you decided to climb it, didn't you?
Yes, but I had to because I'm here. So I couldn't have come here without climbing it.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about free will. We're going to talk about decisions and things like that, of that nature. Because it's come up a few times in our conversations lately. So we thought, let's really stretch this out and make
Do we have any free will? Is it just an illusion?
Do we have any free will? It's an illusion. I'm copying you. This is
we don't know. This is what we're going to discuss today because a lot of people believe that we don't have free will, but I guess a lot of people think that we do because you've got to...
Most people believe we've got free will. Okay?
It's a pretty new concept.
If you say to someone,
yeah,
you know, do you choose what you want to do? They're going to say yes. And they do. Right? They do. So if I say, do you want coffee or tea? Let's say after this I said, would you like coffee or tea? What would you like?
A tea, thanks.
Tea. Okay, great. So you chose that. So we could say it's free will. However, why did you choose it?
Time of the day. It's too late to have a coffee.
Yes. But sometimes you'll say coffee too. And your brain your unconscious brain. So your conscious mind.
I like to mix it up.
So let's talk about the mind a little bit. Because there's two parts to your mind. There's your conscious part, right? And then you've got the unconscious mind. Now, picture an iceberg. So you got the iceberg, that bit above the water.
The one that sunk the Titanic, yep.
Right? And now the bit above the water, what do we know about icebergs?
That they're 1 million times bigger underneath the water.
Not quite 1 million. 10% of it is above the water, roughly, and then 90% are below the water. So what happens is a bit of an illusion when you see an iceberg. You don't think it's that big, but it's massive. Your conscious mind is like the iceberg on top of the water. So it's a tiny bit of your mind, and the big part of your brain is your unconscious. Because if you think about it, right now, are you aware of the temperature of your left ear? No. But now suddenly you are, consciously.
Because you mentioned it.
And do you consciously breathe? Sometimes maybe, not all the time. Otherwise, imagine if you had to think about every breath.
That'd be exhausting.
And your heart beating and your body cooling down and doing everything. So your unconscious mind controls everything. So the unconscious mind is there. And our conscious mind is like the curator in the top, looking at things that happen. Now, signals come into your brain at different speeds.
Should we wait for that siren?
No, we're going to have to keep going. Sorry guys, we must apologise, but Naples is a very, very noisy place. And if we had to stop for every sound, we just wouldn't be able to do it.
We'd be here all night.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to continue through. Please bear with us. We're going to edit out anything that's too loud, but we're going to have to just go because there's sirens, there's bells in the background,
planes, you name it.
It's a very noisy place. Very noisy. It's a population of about 1 million people, but it feels like 10 million with the amount of noise they make. Anyway, the Italians, they're lovely people, very passionate. So, basically they've done it because different inputs come into your brain at different times, like your visual cortex, your sounds, everything else like that. And your brain processes all that and then gives it to your conscious mind at the same time. Because see, light travels faster than sound. So you'll see something before you hear it. Right? And sometimes the brain, if it's close enough, will make it at the same time. Different with lightning, because with lightning you'll see the strike and then hear it later.
Yeah, what I like to do is count how many seconds it takes till you hear the
and then you know
boom.
how many kilometres away
exactly.
it is. Yes. So what they've done is they've done some experiments, and they found that the decision actually happens on the unconscious level, and then lets your conscious mind know about it. But you think you made the decision, but you didn't.
Okay, interesting.
But they did another experiment, which is fascinating, where people had to have a mouse and they had to control this cursor, and they actually had no control at all. However,
I normally feel like that when I use a computer.
But people actually believed they were controlling it.
Yet it was someone else controlling where it went.
Yes.
Interesting, yeah.
And they've done that with all sorts of experiments. They've proven that your unconscious really makes your decisions. So I guess, your conscious, your unconscious mind, when you're born, you got your genetics, and then you got nurture, then you got nature.
Environment,
you got your environment, and that sort of shapes who you become.
For example, your country that you're born in, where you grow up, and your friends and your family.
Culture, the language you speak, your friends. If something happened to you, a significant emotional experience.
All of your surroundings,
It didn't happen to you, your parents especially, your peers, all that sort of thing.
Right.
So the person you were when you were born, the person you are now, is completely different because of the experience you've had. And if it wasn't for certain experience, you wouldn't be making decisions that you do now.
Very true.
So therefore, you're a product of your circumstances.
And your environment.
And your environment.
Yeah,
and your
totally
genes.
believe that.
So therefore, you really don't have a choice to act any other way than exactly the way you act.
Well, this brings me to the topic of, what if someone commits a crime? Are they responsible then?
Yes, okay, so yeah, good idea. So, for example...
You're saying we've got no control over our outcome of life and, our environment and everything.
Okay, so, yes, are people committing a crime? Are they responsible? Very interesting question. Okay, so, let's say, and this happened in the past, where someone will get a tumour in their brain, and that will affect them. There was a guy in the States who did this massive massacre. Right?
Like he killed a lot of people.
Killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
Killed his, apparently his wife, his mother, right?
Oh my God.
And then went on a bit of a rampage, right? Anyway, on his suicide note, he wrote that he didn't know what was going on. And he was having these crazy urges. And he wanted someone to autopsy his brain afterwards.
Okay.
And what they found is that there was a tumour, I think it was on the amygdala, part of your brain. And that's what caused him to act crazy. So when you look back, you think, well, it wasn't his fault.
Because he had the tumour causing that.
Yes,
yeah.
and he didn't know what was going on. So that was a much clearer case, right?
Right.
So, for example, I suppose if someone's got diabetes, you don't go, control your blood sugar, right? But if someone's got depression, you say, get out of it, snap out of it, get out of your depression. But it's a very similar thing. It's not that people choose to be depressed.
Interesting,
Or choose to have diabetes.
But you can control both with your environment and your surroundings.
Of course you can.
Yeah.
However, if you've got no free will, how do you gain the control to do it?
Yeah.
You can't. So
interesting paradox.
It's an interesting paradox.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think about, like, for example, and you've probably heard about my episode where I talked about how I cured my Crohn's using healthy things, things like that. Now,
healthy lifestyle and diet.
I controlled that consciously and made a decision to do it.
Yeah.
But if I was a different person, I would have decided not to bother. So that's the question.
Yeah.
And then we go to the thing, cause and effect. Right? Are you at the effect of things or at the cause of things? So there's one thing constant in your life for the whole time. I've noticed now in Italy, I use my hands a lot when I talk.
And that one thing constant is you.
Is you. So
everything else is constantly changing, and anything can happen at any time. So the one thing you've got control over is your mind.
That's right. So cause and effect, you create everything. That's one of my things that I like to believe, whether it's true or not. Which is the opposite of this free will thing, really, when you think about it. So the jury's out on this one, I think. So
I think the fact of it is we don't have free will. So
we don't have free will at actually who we are.
So however, you've just got to accept it, but then you've got to also think that if you want to have the best life you can, you've got to act like you do have free will and make the best choices to get the best outcome in life.
And you do have free will in a limited sense, because you have got the free will to choose to do what you want to do right now as you speak.
Okay.
But it's a combination of your background, your genes, everything else like that, and all the things that you know.
That's brought you to this decision you're making today.
Exactly. So, and you could actually, by accident, maybe listen to this or something else, go, okay, I'm going to take control of my life. So you've got the free will to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I believe that it's important, just because there's delay, because, now I've worked it out. Okay? Your unconscious mind controls you. Your conscious mind is on top of that, observing. Mm-hmm. And because your unconscious mind creates all the decisions, you've still got free will. And through your conscious mind, you can program your unconscious mind.
So you've got to start making more conscious decisions rather than unconscious ones. Is that what you're saying?
No. So, for example, we did the goal setting in a podcast, right?
Yeah.
So the funny thing is that for only 3% of people had written goals, that Harvard study. Mm-hmm. And out of the 100% of people, the 3% ended up having 90% of the success of everyone else, monetary ones, and lifestyle and things like that. So if you put down your goals and you're very clear about your values, your goals and your beliefs, and you're very clear on that, your unconscious mind now can steer you towards that. So therefore, it helps you make better unconscious decisions.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, because we're basically unconscious anyway. Mm-hmm. That's the funny thing. And I know people might find this strange, but we really are unconscious. We're not conscious. We're just observing things consciously. But all our behaviours and everything we do is unconscious. I mean, for example, have you ever driven home and you park in your driveway and you go, oh my God, how do I get here?
Yes, many times.
Okay. And I've done it.
It's like I'm on autopilot when I'm driving.
And that's because you're in a trance. Your unconscious mind does it for you.
Because it knows the way, yeah.
So, for example, when you first try to learn how to drive a car consciously, what happens? You got your gears.
You got to concentrate. I was shitting myself. I was like, oh my God.
You're doing so many different things.
Yeah.
And you've got to try to focus on so many different things. It's very hard to actually drive consciously. Mm. You can't really drive a car until you become unconsciously competent. And then it's very easy. So most of the things we do are unconscious anyway. And that's why we're unconscious beings. Now, being conscious and making conscious decisions and trying to guide your life and yourself is very, very important. Mm. You know, just because we're unconscious doesn't mean say, oh, well, I'm going to make decisions, I've got no free will, who gives a shit? No, it's very important and vital to be able to take control and guide your life and yourself in the right direction.
And I think you have to fully believe that you're in control of your future and your destiny. And
that's the only way to create the future destiny you want.
You know, the decisions you make affect your life.
That's right, they do. So it's very important. So that's why I suppose goal setting and other things are so powerful, is because things are unconscious. And I suppose if you look at our NLP and hypnotherapy podcast, that's why neurolinguistic programming hypnotherapy is so powerful to helping people make changes, is because you're helping them make it on the unconscious level.
Okay, yeah. Because
your unconscious is really driving your behaviour, not your conscious mind.
Yeah.
So Milton Erickson, who was a famous hypnotist we spoke about in that episode, what used to happen is people would come with different challenges to him, and what he'd do is put them in trance and tell them a story, but to talk directly to the unconscious mind, for the unconscious mind to understand, and the unconscious would make the changes for him. Mm-hmm. Done. It's amazing stuff and very powerful. Mm. I know a lot of people think hypnotherapy is very scary, but really at the end of the day, your unconscious mind is you. So you can trust your unconscious mind just as much as you can trust your conscious mind. That's the beautiful part about it.
I think a lot of people have misconceptions when it comes to what hypnotherapy actually is as well.
That's because you see these people on stage acting like a chicken. Now, if you didn't want to act like a chicken, it doesn't matter who put you in trance, you're not going to act like a chicken. That's the fact of it. So what happens with stage hypnosis, when I was learning hypnosis, you pick someone that wants to do it. Mm-hmm. Because if you pick someone that doesn't want to do it, you're stuffed.
They won't do it, yeah.
They're not going to do it.
Okay,
Impossible.
yeah.
Impossible.
Good to clear up the difference,
yeah,
I think.
They can't force you to do something against your will. Mm-hmm. Like, I've seen one guy though, Darren Brown, when he's doing this hypnosis where he got this guy to do something he didn't want to do.
What about where he gets some guy to kill someone on stage?
Exactly. So that's slightly different. But he got indoctrinated over a period of time. It wasn't just 1 hour, suddenly he's doing something.
Mm-hmm.
So what he did is subtly shift him. But the thing is, you think about this. He interviewed a lot of people. He knew he was going to be on TV.
Yeah.
His unconscious mind wanted to do what he wanted to do. So that's actually called pre-selection. So what happens is, if you're in front of an audience and you say, oh, I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to get someone to act like a chicken. Mm-hmm. You'll notice the unconscious body movement, someone that wants to do it. Because what will happen is they'll move, they'll go like you, this. Or move but they'll move towards you or you'll get a sign from the unconscious mind saying, yes, I want to do it. And you choose them. You don't choose the person going, nope, I don't want to do it. Because that ain't going to happen. It's impossible.
Yeah.
And that's why they need to do it in front of a big crowd to find the right person. But then you've got the pressure of the crowd and them expecting to act like a chicken and saying, yes, I'm coming up on stage. You put that together, it's going to happen. More than likely. It doesn't always happen.
So did they have a choice in the matter then?
Did they have a choice in the matter?
Yeah.
Of acting like a chicken?
Yeah.
I suppose they wanted to on some sort of level.
So they chose to do that. That was their choice.
I think so, yeah. But why do they choose that? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, why do you have a coffee or a tea? What's the difference? I mean, one day have a coffee, the other tea. So with free will, I think the jury's out. It's sort of...
I think, obviously, we don't have any free will because that's already decided for us by our circumstances.
Yes, okay.
But we have to believe that we do in order to
get the best life possible.
Get the best out of life,
So, for example, Sam Harris,
Mm-hmm.
he wrote a book called Free Will. Excellent book. Sam Harris is awesome.
And it's only a short read as well, so check it out.
Read. And he's a neuroscientist and a bit of a philosopher, and he's got a great podcast. You've got to check it out.
And when I first heard of the concept of him saying that we don't actually have free will, I was like pretty shocked by it. I was gobsmacked. I was like, what? What the hell? This is like against everything I believe. It totally flipped all my beliefs on their head. And then I sat down and really thought about the concept. This is even before I read his book. And then I thought, hang on a second, maybe we don't have free will. And then I started thinking a bit deeper into it and, hashing out the reasons why we wouldn't versus why we might.
Yes, so Sam Harris, he's quite a smart man. He reckons we've got no free will at all. Right?
Yeah.
And then he reckons even someone who murders someone
has no free will.
Now, the thing is, though, everyone's going to say, oh, hold on a second. What are we going to do? Just let people do what the fuck they want?
No, of course not.
I still think that, like, for example, let's say someone murders someone and we believe there's no free will, so it's not their fault.
Yeah.
Well, that's like a robot that has done something bad, or a car that's got its brakes that aren't working that's going to kill people.
Yeah.
You still need to lock them away.
Totally.
And fix them and rehabilitate them.
Absolutely.
Because that's just the way it is, right?
Yeah.
Now, also, we've got this sort of, as humans, the eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth type thing. We have this revenge thing inside us where we want there to be someone to pay a penalty for what they do. Mm-hmm. And that, I suppose, is a bit of a deterrent for other people to do it.
Otherwise, it'd be complete chaos.
Yep.
If we just all accepted the fact that, they did what they did because they have no free will. Sure, we'd have a lot more empathy, but then society would be chaos as we know it.
So I think that people still need to be punished, even if they've got no free will.
Yes.
Because that helps people's unconscious decisions make the right decision through that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Through them seeing consequences for certain actions.
So I'm not saying that at all. However, we still need to be mindful, and it's a matter of creating a better society where people don't choose to do things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because your society it helps.
You need to have the right motivators to do the right thing.
Totally. I mean, it's a cultural thing. So we were at Pompeii earlier today. Mm-hmm. And if you look at Pompeii, it was amazing culture. They
were so advanced.
They were very advanced, and this is Pompeii. Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD, so it's around 2,000 years ago. And they would put plaster on everything, and then
they'd render it all,
and put it in like with textures. They'd put pictures and paintings.
They'd sculpt out different artwork as well.
On every single wall, there's sculpt out artwork and fully painted completely.
It's just beautiful.
Amazing.
Like,
We don't
would
do
have
that
taken so much attention to detail, and the buildings and the walls and everything, even the ceilings are so beautiful. Like, it's just a work of art when you walk in and see the way they would have lived. You can just picture it, even though it's ruins. So we're only seeing like probably 15% of what it is.
And this is 2,000 years old and still there, even after a volcano's blown up on top of it. So it's pretty amazing. So they really had some quality. And then you go back forwards in time now, 2,000 years later, and every single building here is covered in graffiti. So the culture has changed.
Absolutely. So they've gone from really caring about how their buildings looked and where they lived and keeping it beautiful and pristine to the complete opposite.
Yep, and we're not judging whether it's good or bad, because there can be graffiti everywhere. However, the thing is, it's interesting that do these people doing graffiti have free will or not? So let's talk about the history of this, because this is very interesting, okay? Because you think about humans back a long time ago, in paleo days. I like talking about paleo days. So in paleo days, I guess humans didn't have as many decisions to make at all. So what they'd do is get up and go look for food.
Go right? Hunt for the day, yeah.
Food, right? And it was pretty clear you didn't have to worry about what you wore, didn't have to worry about anything really. And then what happened was society got more complicated as you had more members of society. And then what happened is you ended up having like a tribal leader. And then the tribal leader would decide for you what you were going to do. And no one questioned that.
So you didn't have any choice in what you did each day?
No choices at all. No.
Right.
What happened was, so what would happen is, now we're going to touch on the levels here.
Okay.
Right? Because it's important. So what we're talking about is different levels of human progress in the way they interact. So what level one is sort of someone that's got no shelter, no food, they're on their own, and
they're in survival mode.
Right? And that's a caveman on his own or a person on the street. But once you've got a tribe together, so level 2 is actually, the chief would be a level 3 who uses force to control people, and the tribe are level 2 where they don't question anything the chief does. He'll say do this, they just do it unquestionably.
Follow with blind faith.
It's a bit like a cult.
Yeah.
And that's how humans started working with a cult, because then you'd have a witch doctor or you know what I mean, and he would tell people what to do. So people didn't have any choices at all, and they would just follow what their leader said. Right. And then what we did is progressed into civilization. And then we had this thing called religion that started. And we had the gods and
Greek mythology,
multiple gods, all sorts of things. And what used to happen if the gods said you had to do this, you had to do it.
Then we were pagans, yeah.
Yep, the pagan system. Because we were watching Vikings recently. It's amazing. People believe that the gods said you had to do this, you had to do it. You know what I mean?
No, kill animals and sacrifices.
Look at the Aztecs. They used to kill 100 people a day or something.
Wow.
Towards their gods.
Full on.
Right? Then there was the monotheistic religions that came in. And still, what would happen is in society, you accepted your fate. And what would happen is you'd say, this is God's will. And you would question it.
That's being quite stoic in a way, isn't it?
Yes, but
just accepting.
That was happened. And I suppose that came in handy because we had a feudal system and the people at the bottom got treated pretty badly, right? And saying this is God's will probably made life a lot easier for them. And there was probably less revolutions because of it. Right? So that's what happened. Then what happened was the age of reason and science. And then suddenly we realised, hold on a second, God doesn't make the sun go around the earth, doesn't do this and doesn't do that. And we have come to the point now where we decide that we control everything. And we make choices. It's a very different way of thinking.
Totally.
And what's happened is, from having no choices as peasants a long time ago, suddenly we just keep getting more and more choices.
Well, we've got choice overwhelm. You know, we've got so many choices. You get up in the morning, you choose what to wear. We've got hundreds of options of what to wear, thousands of options of what to eat.
Yes, so as a peasant, you didn't get choice what to wear. It's all the same things.
Not really what to eat either, because you had no food.
You weren't allowed to move areas. So you weren't allowed to move from one place to another area. They stopped people that. Also, if your father was a blacksmith, you had one choice.
That was your job,
You become a blacksmith.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say, oh, what are you going to do when you grow up?
I must say it's quite overwhelming. Like, I remember growing up thinking, you know, what am I going to do when I grow up? What am I going to be? And I was very confused, and there were so many options and so many different choices. It was quite scary to make that decision, because I'm thinking, what if I choose the wrong thing? You know, what am I going to do?
Totally. And talking about choices, I'm going to talk about something controversial now.
Okay.
So when I was a kid, right, I wanted to be a cowboy. You know, because you know, that's what do you want to be? And you talk to people, what do you want to be? Fireman, policeman, cowboy,
astronaut.
You know what I mean? Kids, because obviously kids.
I wanted to be an astronaut, and I still do. I still want to go to outer space, so hopefully I can achieve that goal one day.
So kids have got this imagination, and they don't really know what they want to do because they haven't grown up yet. And now, I guess in some parts of the world, they're getting asked some very serious questions, probably a little bit too early. Like, for example, what gender do you want to be?
Yeah, that's full on.
So not only are adults getting more choices, children are getting more choices.
Children are getting a lot more choices.
When I was a kid, my parents didn't say, what do you want to eat?
Like, I've seen the way some people parent these days, and they're like asking their kids, what time would you like to go to bed tonight? When I was a kid, I didn't have a damn choice what time I went to bed. It was 8:30 and 8:30 every night.
And I've seen some parents do some crazy stuff, you know what I mean? Asking children, where are we going to live?
Oh, yes.
I've actually seen that.
Yeah, people we know let their 4-year-old decide where they were going to live.
Yeah, and look, I think it's great to, but I think it's very difficult for children because giving children too many choices is difficult.
Plus, they haven't had the experience
to make a choice.
So, a 4-year-old choosing where the family's going to live. What if she chooses the middle of Australia?
Yes.
But
I think the parents would say, okay, no, we're not going to go to the middle of Australia in the desert.
I don't know. They give this 4-year-old a lot of power, so.
That's good. So, as humans, I mean, we always wanted more choices because we have a lot, and I understand that because choice equals more freedom. Right? And the higher you were in society, the more choice you had. See, if you were someone in royalty, you got to choose where you wanted to live, what you wanted to eat, a lot of stuff, and choice was great. And we've, as we've developed our society, we've got more and more choices now.
Totally.
Heaps more. And this new capitalist system, it's choice overwhelm. Because
I really feel we've become maximalists. Like, we choose to have so many different things in our homes,
people think choice gives them more freedom, and it does to a degree. So, for example, we had a choice of one toothpaste at one stage. Not us specifically, but people. Then there was 2 brands of toothpaste, and then 3. Now, there's a whole aisle. Now, do you really need a whole aisle of toothpaste?
Very overwhelming.
And you look at cereals. Like,
so many different cereals.
There's so many different cereals, and there's just more and more choices coming up, and people are getting choice fatigue. It's actually the amount of choice you have to make every day now is huge. And with social media, you've got all these things popping up, going, do this, have a look at this. You've got more and more choices to make, and I think we've only got a capacity to make a certain amount
and
of choices.
do so much every day.
That's right.
So we've got to really choose what we want to focus our energy into. And if we're wasting our time choosing what cereal to eat in the morning, choosing, what brand of makeup to buy, what to wear, where to go, what to do, that's a lot of decisions. And we're only going to have enough energy to make a couple really good ones.
There's only a certain amount of decision-making power you got per day. And you need to save something really important. Now, you were talking before about when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the bunk supplement, didn't you?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So basically, when it comes to choosing what to wear, I've recently just really gotten into minimalism, and I've actually given away over 100 items of clothing because it was very overwhelming getting up every day and deciding what to wear for me. And it was getting to the point where I didn't really like it. And I was thinking, if I only had a couple of choices, maybe my life would actually be easier. So I thought, okay, I would like to actually narrow it down to having, maybe 4 or 5 colours that I can choose from. And then actually on our flight over here, coming here, when we were in the lounge waiting for our next flight, our connecting flight to Rome, I saw the most stunning, beautiful, gorgeous woman I've ever seen in my life. And she was just stunning. And she was wearing I believe it was a burka, but it had the open face. So all I could see was her face. And that really stood out to me because her face was just gorgeous. But the rest of her body was obviously covered head to toe in just black. And then I thought, wow, like how easy that must be to get up every day and just have one choice of what to wear. All she's got to do is put that burka on and then she's good to go. She doesn't have to...
She might have different colour burkas, whatever it's called.
I don't know,
hijab or burka. I think it's a hijab.
I'm not sure, but...
Anyway...
so I was thinking, would my life actually be easier if all I had to do in the morning was wake up and put on that black burka? Forgive me if I'm calling it the wrong name, I really don't know, but...
It's interesting. I mean, it's a bit like Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
He wears the same t-shirt all the time. Steve Jobs.
And he does that
polo.
to liberate himself. He's only got the one choice of the one outfit.
So a lot of very successful people wear the same type of
outfit,
item over and over because they've got much more important things to worry about.
And I thought on the one hand that would, obviously give you energy to spend on other things during the day and make your decision in the morning very easy, and you could just, you've got it there, put it on and go. You don't have to worry about what you wear.
Totally. So
but then
hijab,
on the other hand, you've got the choice of, I think personally that would be way too limited for me, and I wouldn't like having just the one thing to wear. Yeah.
Get a bit smelly. Especially if I was
I think he's got lots of the same one t-shirt.
Okay. So
but
I wouldn't
like...
Let's go back to the hijab though.
Yeah,
okay.
I wouldn't like just having that one choice because, it would be okay for maybe a week for me, but then I would be so bored of it. I would want more choices after that.
Yeah, okay. But I think that if you had really big goals and you were doing amazing things, you wouldn't get bored of what you're wearing.
I disagree. Because I do have big goals.
With Elon Musk? Bored? Or wearing the same clothes all the time?
I think I could have probably 5 choices that I would be happy with, and that would be a small enough amount for me. At the moment, I couldn't do that, but I'd like to get there. I would like to really narrow down my choices of what I've got to wear.
Okay, so every time we travel, we only take carry-on. We don't do checked-in luggage at all.
No check-in luggage,
Tiny little suitcase.
And that was difficult for me at first because I'm so used to having, so many different options and thinking that having more choice is better because it equals more comfort, but actually it just creates more chaos and more overwhelm because then every morning I've got to, choose out of what to wear.
Yes, so the thing is, having less luggage and less choice makes a holiday so much better. Because one, we're going to be very careful and choose really cool items. Then we've got less luggage you have to cart around. And 2, less choice. So we can get dressed really quickly and don't have to worry about it.
But one of the main reasons I've actually gone to using carry-on luggage was because of the time that I saved doing that. Not only in not having much choice of what to wear each day, but in getting on and off an aeroplane and not having to wait for the baggage.
Yeah, we just go straight to the lounge.
I swear it saves me at least 2 hours every time I fly, taking just carry-on. And 2 hours is a lot of time for me. I can do a lot of good things in that time. So I'm really glad that I get to, obviously get that time back in my life.
Yes. So today on our tour, we also met a lady from Australia that was on a border patrol.
Yes, we did.
And she was in uniform. And we talked about this podcast we're going to do. And she was saying that it's so easy for her because every morning she puts on the same uniform and goes to work. So a uniform can make your life a lot easier. You don't have to choose things.
Definitely. I loved having a school uniform at school.
And then we talked
made my life easier.
We talked about the hijab.
Yeah.
Right? And for a lot of women, it's very liberating. Right? And I know people are going to go up in arms about me saying that. But some women love wearing one and they can just put it on and then they're done. And some women don't like wearing it.
And she said a lot of women who have come here have been quite liberated because now they actually get to choose what to wear.
Yes, and she said that was actually quite liberating.
By here, I don't mean Naples, I mean Australia.
Yes. But she was saying also some people actually like to do it. So I think wearing the hijab increases freedom if you choose to do it and you want to do it. But if you have to do it, then it decreases freedom.
You've got to be able to make that choice whether you want to do it or not.
And that's the key, because if you've got the choice to do it or not, and you do it, like if I was forced to wear the same T-shirt every day, that'd be like a prison uniform.
And I think that's why a lot of kids at school hate their school uniform, because they feel like they're being forced to wear it every day. Like It's not their choice.
I must say, I didn't like it. However, you get used to it and you just wear it.
You just accept it, yeah.
Accept it. I used to always break the rules. It was bad. I'd never go to school in my uniform. I'd wear something different.
So, would wearing a burka give you more or less freedom?
Okay.
That's the question I'm going to ask.
Okay, great. Well, I think
if you choose
to wear it,
and that's your choice,
then
you're not being,
more freedom.
Controlled or forced by anyone.
If you don't choose to wear it, it may increase your freedom, may not, depending on how much you didn't want to wear it, or if you knew. Because remember, we said there's no free will anyway, and someone in that society might actually want to wear it because of they're grown up in that society, and that's fine because everyone grows up in their own society, and that's okay.
Yeah. And they've got their own beliefs that they. I think it comes down to your goals at the end of the day as well, and your goals and your values control your choices in life that you make and your decisions.
Yes. So would if the government made more choices for us,
would it be better?
Better or worse? Well, knowing our government, it would be worse. The thing is, but what's happening now?
So if you had your freedom taken away from you,
I wouldn't like it.
You didn't get a choice in what to eat, what to wear, what you want to do. You wouldn't like that?
I wouldn't like it. No, not at all. Not at all. I'm happy to choose minimalism. And when I get back, I need to get rid of a lot of clothes. So I'm going to join the bandwagon. Thank you, Christina. Basically, let's talk about ice cream.
Okay, ice cream.
Okay, they did a very interesting thing. And what they did is they had the show and they had around 33 flavours. Mm-hmm. And they got people to taste them and choose what they wanted to do.
Too much choice.
And then the year after...
I'd be confused by that many options.
Then the year after, they only did 3 flavours. Mm-hmm. And they found the sales increased a lot with less choice because people didn't have that choice overwhelm.
And that's when the Napoleon ice cream was born.
So that way you didn't have to choose.
Strawberry, vanilla, chocolate. 3 choices.
Yes. I'm glad you described it because some people may not know what it is. So what's happening now, though, is we've gone through a society where choices have just gone through the roof.
I think people are finally starting to realise that less is more as well, whereas previously we've had this maximalist sort of conditioned living where more is more, we would have thought. But
I don't think a lot of people have jumped on that bandwagon yet. But I really believe less is more.
I think the pendulum is swinging and people are sort of realising.
The reason being is information overload too.
So people want less choice.
People want less choice, and what's happening now is there's starting to be some bots and apps to help you get less choice. And people reviewing things online and saying, okay, choose this to make people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make it easier. But also, when you think about it, we're getting less choice. Like, for example, that GPS program, Waze. And it's an app that I use on my iPhone. And what it does, it gives you, it's like Google Maps, it tells you how to get from point A to point B. However, it's got a lot of users on it. So if a road's got too many stops or something's happening, it will divert you to another road. Mm-hmm. So what it does...
So it actually gives you the best way to get home.
That's why it's called Waze.
Yeah.
Right? So it gives you the best way to get home. And I like it because it gets me there quicker. Even though sometimes it's an unusual route. Now,
so that actually relates to religion, because a lot of people believe that's the best way to live, and then that makes all their decisions for them, such as what to wear, what to do, where to be on Sunday.
It gives them a lot of freedom, or what to eat as well.
Yeah, totally.
In some religions. So it gives them a lot of freedom because they don't have to think about these things and they can focus on other things that may be more important. And if it's arbitrary, then it might be a good thing. So the thing is with Waze, right? Mm-hmm. That's actually taking my choices away, isn't it?
But it's giving you the best choice.
I think it is. How do I know? Because I'm blindly. So what's happening is I'm blindly following.
You're giving it blind faith.
I am giving it blind faith. So Waze is actually telling me what to do, but it's cutting out me thinking about where to drive.
Yeah.
Now, sooner or later, there's going to be another app that does.
I must say, I defy Waze quite a bit because it tries to make me go a certain way, but I know that I'm not that confident when it comes to right-hand turns over 4 lanes. So I'd rather go around a roundabout. So with me choosing to go through the roundabout rather than do a right-hand turn across 4 lanes, I'm still going with my instinct and my choice. And I'm following Waze probably 80% of the time, but I'm still putting in my 20% of choice where I know the option for me to take the roundabout is better for me personally.
But pretty soon, what's going to happen is, because we're going to have self-driving cars, we're going to have lots of different apps that can do things better than what we can.
Absolutely.
And a lot of our apps will know us better than what we know ourselves and be able to choose for us. So slowly, our choices are going to get diminished up to the point where if our apps know us so well that we won't have to make any choice at all.
That's really scary.
Totally, but how the pendulum swung from no choices to lots of choices back towards no choices.
No choice, yeah.
Is it good or bad? It's a bit scary giving all our choices away, but I suppose it would have been scary gaining all those choices in the first place for people in society. So I think
depends on the person.
Free will and choices are an amazing thing, and I think we've got other things. We've got to discuss it again. But I think gives you something to think about of what's happening. And next time, you got your TripAdvisor telling you eat here or do this. Do you know what I mean? And I use that when we go overseas, and we always find great restaurants doing that. But is it controlling us and making us miss out on other stuff? So.
I don't think so, because it's a tried and tested process.
Yeah.
I've already had a lot of people
the wisdom of the crowd
figure out all that hard work for me, and they're giving it to me on a platter. Why wouldn't I take that advice?
Yeah, so me personally, I'm trying to reduce the amount of choices I make.
Yeah, me too.
I really want to be minimalism with not just the objects that I've got, but also the information I've got. Because information, I've got a friend who's a computer geek, and he downloads everything, the whole internet. And he's got all these hard drives, downloads shitloads of stuff.
But how does he have time to do it all?
He doesn't. Yeah. All he does is download. He doesn't actually get
Well, that's just silly then.
And because we've got so much free information out there, it's getting harder and harder to choose what's good. So I think that my goal over the next 12 months is to cut down as much choice as I can, believe it or not. Because I feel that the less choices I have, the more freedom I'm going to have to do some really good work and do some excellent stuff. I know that sounds counterintuitive because we've always been taught more choice, more freedom, more choice equals more freedom. But I really feel less choice gives you more freedom, to a degree.
You've got to choose to have less choice.
Yes, and also...
And you've got to know yourself really well, because you've got to know what you're choosing is going to get you the best results and the best outcome for your life.
That's right. See, I'm very particular. And a lot of people go, oh, you're fussy. Well, no, very different. Because fussy is you don't know what you want. I'm very, very clear on what I want. I'm very particular.
Absolutely,
so,
yeah.
Actually, you know me very well. If I go to a restaurant, you can choose the one item
Exact.
you choose. Exact item.
Yeah.
And I can usually choose what you want too. So,
That's true.
And that's because we know what we want. It's very easy.
And it revolves all around, I guess, our goals to be healthy and live a long, healthy
and
life.
have something that tastes good that we like.
Yeah.
On top of that, but the most important part is the healthy part. So, I'm going to focus on, cutting down my choice. And I reckon in 6 months' time, I want to redo this choice thing because I want to see how many choices we've cut out and how it's affected us. Because the less choice you have, the more time you have, the most valuable asset in your whole life is time. You can get more money, you can get more anything, but you can't get more time.
Totally.
So if you create more time, that is the most amazing asset. And
I totally agree. A bit like
awesome.
how I chose to obviously do carry-on luggage, which has given me more time. And choosing to get rid of 100 items in my wardrobe has given me more time too.
Well, you've convinced me. I'm going to get rid of 100 items out of my wardrobe.
That's awesome.
What I get back, I'm going to give it away to charity and people that I know. And
give it away now.
Right down on what I have. Totally.
Cool, yeah.
I love it. I might do a bit of Mark Zuckerberg, and I've all got the same socks and the same underwear, right? So I don't have to think about that, but I might go a little bit further than that.
See, I wanted to cut down to having one choice of colour of socks, but I couldn't because I've got shoes that are, white or black. So I'm like, okay, well, I've got to have two choices, white or black.
I'm gonna have to change my choice.
Because it's still got to look good.
Exactly, you got to have that fine line. But I'd like to really cut down.
I think it's about balance and getting that balance right.
I'm going to get rid of a lot of stuff. It's going to be great. Awesome.
Okay,
well, look, we're going to have to go out to this beautiful night here in Naples and get some beautiful food. And we've already chosen where we're going, which is awesome.
Well, TripAdvisor chose it for us.
Actually, it did. Now, thank you for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. And hope you're having a wonderful time. And thank you for the support. And see you next episode.
See you at our next destination.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
For everyone listening, thank you once again. Stay well and see you next episode.
For awesome info and trending content, go to theuglytruth.blog.